Hello beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel, and on today's video I'll be showing you how to make the most delicious goat curry. We'll be using some goat meat, spices, Scotch bonnet pepper, ginger and garlic, seasoning powder, curry powder, and some other spices you'll see along the line. So in the goat meat, you'd remove all the liquid from it because you want to marinate it. You'd add your seasoning powder, this thyme and goat spice, some curry powder. You want to be generous with that because you want the flavor to be intense. Some ginger and garlic. It was grated. And then you add your Scotch bonnet pepper depending on how your tolerance level is. You'll still add some in the sauce. So this is for you to marinate it. And I'll be adding some coriander powder. Be generous with your spice, but do not overdo it. I'll be adding some paprika for some flavor and color. I'll be adding some barbecue spice. Like I said, you'd use a lot of ingredients and there are a lot of spices, but you have to be generous, yet do not overdo it. You would add some vegetable oil. Not too much, just enough to make the spices stick to the meat. And then I'm wearing a glove because there is pepper in it and I cannot use my bare hands to mix it because you want the spices to get into the meat. So you would want to massage that in until every piece of meat is completely coated in all your mixture of spices and pepper. At this point, you can actually add the onions inside, but I did not bother adding because I'm going to fry it and it's going to be fragrant enough to get into the meat. So I did not bother adding it to marinate it. You can go ahead and marinate this for about 24 hours or less, depending on the time you have in your hands. But when I was making this goat curry, I did not leave it for so long to marinate. I left it in the fridge for less than an hour because it was late preparation. So you cover this and put it in the fridge while you prepare your other ingredients. This is going to make the meat to be so tasty. Do not forget to marinate your meat. In a hot pot, you would add some vegetable oil. Do not add a lot, just a little will go a long way. You add your curry powder into your vegetable oil. After adding your curry powder to the vegetable oil, you would add your onions. I use spring onions and the bulb of the onions as well because it gives a lot of flavor to your dish. You should try as much as possible if you can to use it. So you'd see me do a lot of stirring in this video. While I was editing was when I realized I was stirring a lot, but you'd have to do that so that you don't get anything burnt. Okay, so you keep stirring and I was just trying to make sure the curry doesn't stick to the pot or get burnt in the process. And you want to do this on a low to medium heat so that it's not too much fire and it doesn't just end up burning your onions and curry. You bring out your meat and you add the meat into the pot. As you can see, there is no water coming out of that container because I had to make sure I dried the meat properly after washing. You don't want water because the spices would not get into the meat because of the water that is in the container. At this point, you want to turn and turn this meat thoroughly because you want it to brown. You don't want it to get burnt, but you want it to brown a bit. And you turn it and make sure it is brown on both sides, or until it juices start coming out and it cooks in its own juice. Then you'll know it is ready. Okay. At this point, you'll cover and then allow your gas to be on low to medium heat. Later, you come and check on it. Do not go too far away, because in case your goat meat did not bring out a lot of liquid like mine did, it doesn't get burnt. Because if you go far away, it will get burnt. So make sure you keep turning, and that's why I am turning at intervals. I keep turning at intervals so that it doesn't get burnt. You keep doing this for the next 10 to 15 minutes on low to medium heat, like I said, so it doesn't get burnt before you add your water. And you're doing this to build flavor. You're doing this to allow your spices get into your meat. You do not want your meat to be tasteless. You want the meat to be tasty, even without doing too much, without putting too much seasoning in the meat. And that is what goat curry, you'd have to be very patient. You'd have to take your time and follow it gradually. You are going to add the water when your meat is brown enough. You would add enough water to cook your meat through. You would want your meat to be very tender in such a way that the bones easily come out of the meat without a lot of struggle. And you, after adding the water, you would add other things again, just like you did to marinate your meat. I added pepper, and after adding the pepper, I tasted to know the quantity of salt I needed. I added curry powder. I added seasoning to it again. I added paprika. You're just going to repeat whatever you did to the marinade. And I added coriander powder as well. I'm just repeating whatever I added. The barbecue spice, I added everything I did from the beginning, just to balance the whole taste. You taste your food while cooking so that you are sure of what you're doing. Do not say you know everything and not taste. You'd probably do something else. At this point, after adding everything, you cover and allow it to cook. It will boil down, and you'd see the water level is going down. You allow your meat to cook until it is very tender. You see, I am showing you how thick it is becoming. The liquid is becoming very thick at this point. You are free to check if the meat is tender enough, or you need to leave it for longer time to cook more and become very tender. Like I said, you want the meat to be soft enough that the bone easily comes out of the meat without a lot of struggle. So you keep checking, and when it is done, you'd add your Irish potatoes. When you add the Irish, you'd add some carrots. After the carrots, you'd allow that to cook. The starch from the Irish potatoes would thicken the sauce. It would make the sauce thicker. You're free to add a bit of water if the sauce is becoming too thick. Okay, and I'll do that in this video because the sauce was becoming a bit thicker than what I wanted, the consistency I wanted, and I had to now add a bit of water to it. Please do not do this on high heat. Do this on low to medium heat so that it doesn't burn faster than it should and your meat is properly cooked. Okay, because you're not rushing this. This is not one meal to rush. You just want to take your time and prepare it well. And if you can see, it is thickening well. and it's becoming nicer and better. You can add your green and red bell peppers at this point, because that's the final thing we are adding to this dish, and everything is perfect. You can add a bit of water, because I did that because my sauce was too thick and I had to loosen the consistency. But whatever suits you, that's exactly what you do. And we have our beautiful goat curry ready to be devoured. You can pair this with anything. As for me, I paired it with some white rice, and it was absolutely delicious. Please, if you've gotten to this point, thank you for watching. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Try this recipe and let me know how it came out, because I absolutely enjoyed it. In case I did not mention, this was my first time of making this goat curry sauce, but it was super delicious. And to tell you that it is a very easy recipe to recreate. You want to ditch your everyday rice and stew as a Nigerian, because I am a Nigerian, that's what I know. So you have to ditch that for something like this goat curry, and it will take you from a 0 to 100 real quick. Like I said, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate. See you on my next video. Bye.